She's put in a good performance today.
All right, well, as we're going to be heading into the game, I'm going to give it over to you guys, Ollie and Demo, to cast, so enjoy the game.
Thank you very much, Ginny. Second best of 3 is going to be getting underway right here, right now. We got E1 Sports versus Netshoes Miners. We're going to be headed to Skyscraper for our first map. Have we had time to emotionally deal with the first series demo? Are we feeling ready and raring to get stuck into series number 2?
Oh, no, I mean, that's like, what, the 7th time in my life I've seen Liquid choke whenever they should be winning. So I'm used to it.
For anyone that did miss it, Liquid are out of the LCQ. They have already qualified for SI, which is huge, of course, given that it's in Brazil this year. Or, well, next year, should I say. But yeah, they're out of the LCQ. They're out of running for the major in Atlanta. So it's wide open now. And you would look at the bracket and you would say that, Liquid should be coming away with this. I think all of the other teams now, Demo, are going to be thinking, that could be us. There's nothing really standing in our way now mentally that's going to be a big hurdle to get up against. Obviously, Liquid is a team that comes with that level of sort of intimidation. And now E1 Sports and Netshoes Miners are probably sat there going, we get through this game and we just focus on, we know that we've not got a horrendous opponent up and coming. We're just going up against teams of our similar level.
Yeah, it's really all to play for now in a free-for-all environment without someone with, that juggernaut armor that is Liquid. But this will be an interesting matchup. Look across the names, Ollie. We're familiar with all of them. Teams together who would have thought, Astro and Sexy Cake would have been together, and throw Lucan in there as well. It's quite a weird mix. And then you've got, Neskin and Levy, hitting it up with, coaches of NIP in the form of Mighty, STKs in there. These are players we've known for a long time, Ollie, but to see where they've kind of ended up and the kind of mismatch that we've had, I think certainly with Brazil this year has been crazy, just where everyone's kind of been scattered around. Yeah,
I'm getting serious Santos vibes. That'll be a throwback name that you'll remember. Besetto, of course. Besetto for a time, was he on Liquid?
Black Dragons? Was he not? Or
I can't remember where
I'm pretty sure he was Black Dragons.
He made a big change, I know that much.
He was definitely, I'm pretty sure he's Black Dragons. Because I remember they went to the Young Major and they played the quarterfinal. So
tons of pedigree on both sides, and this is really a melting pot now to see how everybody stacks up. Obviously, you've already mentioned a couple of legends that we've got in the server today in the form of Astro, previously of FaZe, Sexy Cake. Everyone will remember Sexy Cake, I'm sure. So
Tim certainly hasn't.
Who hasn't?
Tim.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Classic. So I'm excited just to see some of these players that we haven't really had the courtesy of casting in a while. I'll just go at it again, and we will kick things off, of course, with Skyscraper. This is Miners' pick. Therefore, they picked it. That means they have to go on the attack, which is always seen as the more difficult side, Ollie. And the defense just based the ban, so have a lot of fun things to play with. Mira's up, Azami's up. Those already in itself are difficult operators to go up against a Skyscraper with the amount of utility that you already need to bring on an attacking standpoint. Then have to burn through all of those strong positions that you can take up as a defense. It's quite the challenge. Neskin will use both his nades already in the round and hasn't got any kills to show for it. This is going to be difficult now, I think, for Miners going forward without the nades to eliminate players in mirror windows and Azami barriers, of course. You do wonder where they're going to go from here.
You got to feel sorry for the teams in the LCQ when they've got to make these changes around the nades and bring things that they wouldn't have necessarily brought. Raps, bringing the pain. Neskin, there's barrel stuff there on the stairs with the shotgun. Levy and Besetto trying to make something happen here. They've got a minute to find 4 kills. Levy, one goo mine, a breath of toxic smoke, anything, he'll be out of action. He's going to get downed anyway. Everyone can now just turn their attention toward Besetto. Gonna try and make a little bit of an entrance here, but he's a bit too loud about it. He's got a player jumped out of Geisha. He hops up. The player inside a garden gets him. Tough opening round there I'm not expecting things to get much better for the attackers and the statistics that we've got on them today, Demo, when we see Skyscraper come out as the first map in this series, because it's a tough old map.
It is. It's very difficult, obviously, on the attack. And whenever the attacking bans are Ying and Monty, which can be seen as somewhat crutch operators to help you, and just, it's a bit of a... it's one of those kind of cheese ways just to win an early round. Bring the Ying in, bring the Monty in. Hopefully, by the time that Monty becomes an issue, you would have had a couple of rounds under your belt. You have to kind of bring the certain correct lineup to deal with Monties. You don't have your Legions and your Smokes, and you will have issues with it. Being able to avoid them for E1 will put them up nicely in this first half. They lead 1 round to 0. They move over now towards the office. I just look at this bomb site specifically, and I just feel as though teams have really been struggling with the roam game, and not in terms of struggling to gain control of Dragon into Drum, those certain areas, but it's how long they take to clear them out. How many times have we seen this bomb site be played where it went down to the final couple of seconds and attackers just have to push in blindly? It happens so often.
Yeah, more often than it should. I think it speaks to the tools at the defender's disposal here. We look at the bans that we've got. We've got a Valkyrie ban and we've got a Fenrir ban. So you're removing a bit of information. Valkyrie is not quite a must-play, but a very popular pick. The Fenrir ban, I think that teams initially maybe overreacted to the Fenrir a little bit, and it's something that with good drone work and coordination, you can deal with it. So you've maybe let one through there in banning the Fenrir. And you maybe would have looked to, maybe a bit more value out of a mirror ban or even an Azami ban, something of that nature. I guess one of the good things about Warden now is because he's a 1-speed, he's maybe not going to be as banned. So it kind of frees up a ban slot if you're looking at it that way.
I guess.
Because you don't really need to remove it.
You wouldn't ban it anyway if you're dealing with a Ying ban in the first place. It's different if you know that it's
if the Ying's open, yeah.
It just depends on what the team is, what their playstyle is. If they're a team that heavily runs the Ying and the enemy have let it through, then you ban the Warden and you're going to have an absolute field day against them. But whenever Ying is pretty common, more of a common ban than Warden is, because you can ban the attackers first. That's another interesting one. What would it be like if we were to switch the defenders and attackers around, where it's defenders get banned first rather than attackers? Always an interesting debate.
We should coin flip it every game, shouldn't we? It should be coin flipped so that, right, you coin flip for attack or defense, whatever, and then, right, now you coin flipped for who gets to ban first. I'm not sure how different it would be.
Look at this pause from Luca, as safe as anything, and like I mentioned, just the time is just so slow right now. Miners haven't got control that middle portion of the map yet. Drum and Dragon both still standing, and with a minute to go, you still have the mirror windows to deal with. Get the nades in downstairs. Does a bit of damage to Astro, but not enough to kill him off. No nades left, all nades being used. It just feels though Miners are going to really struggle to shoehorn their way in through those mirror windows, Ollie.
Yeah, there's some hard challenges facing them here. Raps is doing a great job of ducking and diving either side of the Dragon, but eventually gets taken out by Neskin. The Sexy Cake kill onto STK and decides to actually drop. Sees if he can make use of any of that vertical. Astro, he's in a world of hurt here. He goes for an ambitious C4, but gives himself away. A couple of kills being cleaned up there by Mighty. He had the read that Sexy Cake had rotated down. Decent attack, all things considered. They did a great job of throwing a cat among the pigeons there and dealing with those mirror windows.
E1 didn't really help each other. You think about that player towards Dragon. There was nobody assisting him. Nobody swinging off the kill holes. Nobody swinging off the door frame.
Yeah, where
he
was
just
Sexy
left
Cake?
by himself. Yeah,
Sexy Cake was right next to Raps, and could have been in a position to do something there. Because Raps had wasted quite a good bit of time. Yeah, there was a bit too baity, wasn't it?
Need to be better there from E1 in the actual team play. Again, they are on the strong side. They're on the defense. We'll move now in towards the kitchen, though. Not wanting to retry their hand. Instead, moving in towards the kitchen. Their lineup's a little bit more room-friendly as Solus comes in. Can expect to see plenty of vertical destruction happen everywhere, and these bomb sites all they can be opened up from above. That's the big issue for the defense is you can't really get into sight without going above. So Geisha's going to have to be a priority. Bringing in the Ossa, which ain't a bad operator to bring in whenever you're looking at gaining control of delivery. You know, you kind of look at one-way angle fights, pretty much your front headstrong gunfights. So being able to bring in the Ossa shields towards delivery will just ease that pressure ever so slightly. And if you can, you set yourself up in a position where you can plant behind that. Seto, his main objective, though, is get that wall open, try and create a bit of a nuisance there for the players inside of Geisha. Plenty of angles opened up above. Everything looking pretty good for E1 right now in terms of their generic setup. See how miners want to deal with it.
Also, shield going to be placed onto the window there. Raps is still going to be a tough nut to crack here. Got quite a lot of utility around him. He'll have some barbed wire on the stairs. He's got a Kiba barricade at the top. But that shotgun at those close ranges, not going to be an easy thing to challenge into. Astro starts to see a little bit of pressure on the site. STK maybe could take advantage of this. Raps, for all of his power in positioning, has been taken out by Mighty there. I think he got downed by a grenade. It certainly coincided with an explosion. STK just cruising through reception, seeing if there's anything that you can find. That call will give a little bit of information away here. Not too much team play going on at the moment. STK going to find one onto Dudez. Still got Astro on the side pretty low, though. He's going to need some support pretty soon, Demo.
Trying to help him, but oh, great peek there from Lukid. So Mighty with little ease, and that's a good crossfire. That's better, isn't it, from E1? Supporting one another, using the team play to their advantage. Oh dear. We see the Goyo canister go against the defense, and kill falls, and that's a great pick from STK. He waited for that kill for quite a while. Sexy Cake does see the diffuser go down, but he's too late to make it happen. He has to try and play for the retake now. Sexy Cake to choose the black stairs as his option. Will have to push down. But look, they're waiting for him. Pasetto is ready, and that's a good swing. Eliminates Sexy Cake. Good team play there from E1, but Miners, STK especially, being able to pick up that kill. Pasetto somehow getting a kill with a Goyo canister. Oh, all kinds of issues for E1 that round.
Yeah, you got to feel for Astro there. He's fallen to his own canister. He was 1 health almost from the start of the round, it felt like. He got himself in a real early engagement, managed to stay alive, but at that point he was kind of spent, and you're looking around at your utility and you're thinking, one of these pieces of utility is probably going to kill me, and it's probably going to be my own Vulcan canister. Unfortunate. 2 rounds here for Netshoes Miners, so not doing too badly in the opening part of Skyscraper. You certainly don't expect attackers to be coming away with a lion's share of the rounds here. E1 need to tighten things up a little bit. They've let a couple slip there. This roam game that they've been going for in the last couple of rounds has sort of seen hit and miss results. They're going to be going back upstairs into T and karaoke. They were very successful here in round number 1. It felt like everything that Netshoes Miners were doing on the attack was just falling on deaf ears, and they weren't able to really get anything going. We're going to be bringing a similar lineup here again. They have included the Warden this time. I believe they had the Azami previously, but it's really curious the Warden change demo. It's crazy to see an operator that goes from, must pick almost every round for the gun and the utility to now you're sort of looking at it and you're going, you've maybe missed the mark a bit there because you're stuck on a 1 speed and you've only got 3 flashes that you're going to be going up against. It's terrible.
Just too slow. I think you need to try and get in and about it. Really, the only operator that I would say has really survived a big, a change, but still you can see plenty of play is probably Mute. And probably Sledge. I think both of them, Mute and Sledge, have really been the two which still pick rate didn't affect them at all, even with the changes to the speed. But certainly Warden, just whenever you want to try and get around fast, especially in such a a meta where anything can happen and you always need to be ready. The fact that you cannot rotate to different parts of the map to use the goggles to stop smokes or flashes coming in, it's a bit of an issue. You know, it's very unlikely that you as a warden will just stay in one position and the push will always come to you. Yeah. 9 times out of 10, you're going to need to go to where that push is. Great nade from below, STK. Helmets wraps, that's what we wanted to see. More nade play. Easy way of dealing, and there's a second one. Easy way of dealing with players who you can't really touch because they're in such strong positions with all that utility. Geisha Wall now is certainly a good place you can start to see Miners stem the attack from. Clearing away any potential electrification or mute jammer that could have been there, and Mighty's actually getting the plant down right now. Astro, he has no idea. The plant just went down easily into the karaoke. Everyone was sitting, waiting in position as they just strolled in, and wow, what a great collapse. What a great attack for Miners. See an opportunity. I think just walk into karaoke, hold the angles firm, win that round.
Deployable shield there, just being a tool that the attackers can use as well at the end of the round. I'll tell you who's had a cracking round, Mighty. Spent a lot of time on drone gathering the information for those nades from below. Obviously, off the back of gathering that information, they've then discovered that, hang on a minute, there's a big opportunity for us to get a plant down here. If we can hold, you know, some key angles here, here, and here, we're going to be able to get this plant down. And that's exactly what we saw. Fantastic siege. I love that kind of style of, you know, it's traditional, it's old school, but it's basics. And have the hard breacher or the person that's in that more support role with the diffuser, get the drone work done for the entries, get a couple of entry nade kills from below, because you can do nothing about that. You need to have a body on that ground floor as a defender, defending from those nades from below and really putting the pressure on and not just allowing people such free access. Cracking round. And number 5 ensues, and we're starting to see a little bit of a lead generate here. 3 rounds to 1. You know, we're out of the early game now. We're into the mid game of this first phase, and it's time for E1 to really put the pedal to the metal and get something going here, because they could very quickly let this one run away from them.
They could. They could. Niners are looking confident. Everyone's on the board. Everyone's doing their job. It's a good team performance so far for Miners. I wouldn't say they've had to rely on, you know, we've seen a few times that a team could be leading, but that's just because, you know, one guy just popped off and had 12 kills by, you know, this stage in the game. But it's not the case. Everyone's doing their job, so you know it's a well-rounded team, and just the entire team play is working really well for them. Said E1 need to get going here because they are on the defense. They will have to go up against all the different utility that they're bringing onto their side. It's a good pick, knowing that Rats is going to be playing in towards Dragon with that breach being opened up. Rats has to be careful now. Mighty. I think that's always a good addition sometimes though in Skyscraper Rally. Kind of, you know, equal the playing field. Sure, you have all these Kiba barriers and mirror windows that are difficult to burn through, but hey, we've got Dokkaebi on board and equally as a strong operator for the attacks.
Absolutely. You got the Logic Bomb phone calls. You've got a great kit and utility. I think Dokkaebi sports some of the best weapons, if in the right hands. Get someone that can rock with the DMR and with the SMG effectively. Basetto is just going to get blocked off here. Maybe going to leave it as a little bit of a bait there with the Claymore set ready for later. Astro, he's hero or zero, isn't he, Demo? And today, so far, it looks as though he's coming up 0 and 4. Not getting anything going on these defensive rounds, and first blood here in round number 5. Hop in, Dokkaebi call, Finker stim, everything working now with these attackers. Neskin loses out the engagement there, but immediately will be traded out. This is so much better than what we've seen previously. Attackers really vying for every inch and fighting together for it. STK just going to chuck a nade out and see if he can get lucky, but Mighty and STK both low. It really isn't over yet.
Oh, E1 just not able to get the refrags in. Miners just look as if they want it more. You know, they're not afraid. Not timid, not shying away from the engagements. They're happy to trade their lives as long as it means that another player from their team can confirm an easy refrag. Luke it, though. Between a rock and a hard place. One on the stairs, one pushing in from Terrace doorway. Basao, a great double kill. Sees round number 5 in favor of Miners once again. Another great minors round. E1 Ollie just, it's not interested. They're really not.
It seems like there's a lack of commitment. And from miners, that commitment is all there. They are going at things full force. If they need to clear someone out of Dragon, there's 2 people clearing him out of Dragon, and they're ready to trade off the back of it when it doesn't go to plan initially. They're really fighting hard for the space inside of the map. And you've got to do that on Skyscraper. You've got to be a bold and confident attacker to come away with rounds on Skyscraper. And I think that Netshoes miners are doing another great job here, and that's they're winning the rounds that could be lost. They're winning rounds that are very easy to throw. Look back to that last one, 3 versus 2, but with 2 players on 1 shot. You've not got a lot of hit points to speak of. What do? You've got to take a breath. You've got to take a moment, gather some more info, and send the strong guy through. And Bassetto did just exactly that. Currently 5-1, by the way. Having a cracking game. And now you sat there as E1 thinking, oh, where do we go from here? You're certainly seeing why this was Netshoes miners' map choice. That's for sure.
It's just all miners. They're leading the tempo. They really are. I look at E1 and they have about as much authority as like a carrot at a meat buffet. No one's interested in the carrot. They have no authority there. They just really need to dig their heels in.
Does a carrot have heels?
Need to grow some, and I don't mean the heels. SDK, it's a slip. Gets himself back up. Surely not. Oh, I was going to say, is that the first time we've seen a frost mat with the new mechanic actually work out in favor of the attackers?
And Dudez knew what he was playing with there. Could have taken the challenge a tad bit earlier. He'd given a chance to STK to at least have a gunfight, but the first kill, regardless, goes in favor of E1 for the first time in a long time. Is that going to be enough for them here? They've got that man advantage. They can now start to think about consolidating a little bit. You're at the halfway point in the round. Look at what you've gained. You've gained a kill onto STK. You've removed the Ram. Okay, maybe not the most impact here. Ram relatively new. So we're very used to dealing with attacking this site without it. But what is going to take its place? Well, maybe we've got some breaching charges on Mighty that we could use, but we've got to get into position to be able to do that. On the flip side, you look at the site and you think, well, what was the Ram really being brought for anyway?
Point. Oh, what a swing. Eskin just absolutely annihilates, but no wraps. He does some of his own annihilation. 3 in the round for him. Seto. 1v2 now. Looks good for E1 fine. Looks good for E1. Still make the choice and move in towards Drum. Just tell the way he's playing all. Like, he has no information whatsoever. Every kill he's going to get is going to be from, I would say, a bit of a misplay from E1. All E1 need to do is stand still. Play off each other. Use that team coordination. Give him the opportunity to clash. There's a red ping. Maybe they do have some information. Seto doesn't really know where he wants to move, though. 10 seconds. I think this is going to be out of his reach. There should be a swing coming in from Geishin. Yes, there will be. Seto falls. E1. Salvage around there, Ollie. Is a 4-2 good enough? Are they going to be happy with that?
They definitely needed something. Dudez has played pretty well in that round, really. He's done the job of the Azami. He's played inside of Geisha and picked up 2 kills. Most importantly, the opening kill. I'm going to say a technical pause briefly here. Just before we switch sides. I think it's an important round for E1 to win. The round before the side switch, I think it gives you that little bit of hope. It gives you that bit of momentum. I'm not sure if it's enough really here for E1. They need to, as well as, have that sort of bit of a mental boost, they need to have that boost inside of the server where they start playing better Siege, because so far we haven't seen that same level of team play. we were getting there, especially in that final round. I think they did a good job in the 2v1. That's something that you should be winning anyway, though. If we're crediting teams for winning 2v1s, there's a bit of a problem, you know? I'd like to see this side switch come. We've already spoken about what's available so far for not only attackers, but both the defenders. So I'm not anticipating Netshoes Miners to come up against any significant obstacle. They've got things like an Azami, they've got things like a Mirror. They've not chosen to play them in round number 1, but they are there and available. And then if you look at the side of the attackers, you've got things like the Dokubi. You can really work a lot off a Dokubi on a Skyscraper. So Astro is actually going to 6-pick off that and opt for the Nomad instead, maybe anticipating a little bit more of a roam game here.
See if we can get Miners started off on a good start for their defense. They do lead 4-2. They've done the heavy lifting, forced to step himself up nicely on what I would argue to be the more difficult side start. They've pulled off a big victory for them. E1, and I look at the Amaru, and there's only one place I can see the Amaru really getting good value out of it, Ollie, and that's just straight in through your karaoke window. Many other places that you'll see the value of that operator on this bomb site, particularly. Maybe he's going to go in black, maybe an option for him, but still taking on that challenge of a shotgun versus a shotgun. Seto stationed up towards black stairs. Even a bit of barbed wire you have to try and trudge through. It's not the best place to really think about swinging in towards. Well, we'll now start to get opened up. STK takes a bit of damage from a nade, but not enough to really make him worry and fall back out of there. Breach gets opened up now. Slow and steady for E1, but rather see him go slow and steady, Ollie, than just rush in and lose all their lives immediately.
Yeah, I think they need to get a bit of an idea of the pacing of these defenses and just where Netshoes Miners are in terms of that. I see a bit of a flurry there as Raps is going to find Bassetto. Bassetto just getting a bit too active. Caught out in the Claymore. Not really where you want your smoke to be, I'll be honest with you. Especially if you're looking at trying to choke these guys out on time. That is your biggest point of denial. Gone. We're going to see the Amaru hop into the bottom of these black stairs, and Lukid immediately pushing up and sees success onto a challenge onto STK. Advantage now in E1's favor. Not have any nades left on Stexy Cake for the nade from below, but it looks as though they might be able to take a bit of control here, particularly at the top of black, and start to focus in on that karaoke.
Great job at getting into a good position towards the black stairs, but they've lost the diffuser now, Ollie. Lost the diffuser outside of the balcony. Thermite has also been eliminated. Astro, and 0-6 for him. Still cannot get a kill. Still a 2v2 though. Sexy Cake, Sauneskin, but Lukid. He needs to try and get that diffuser. Ollie has to use a flashbang on that gate, and oh no, even Sexy Cake doubling up. I don't know if I like this, Ollie. Both of them together now. This makes it very easy. The defense just to work together and hold it against them. Heavy has dug in deep towards Geisha. Right, and that's a great swing. What a pick from Levy. Right place, right time. Still no diffuser in hand. Neither of them prioritizing it. Sexy Cake, he's not going to have enough time to kill both of them. Get that diffuser down. Swings in now. We'll get one exit for his troubles. We knew that Miners were never in danger there. Not getting that diffuser, Ollie, has really cost them there.
Yeah, big misplay. Obviously, it's never ideal to lose the diffuser, and Netshoes Miners recognizing that was then their win condition. They had control of that diffuser out on the balcony. Well, picking rounds up on the attack and on the defense here. This is exactly what we want to see here in these last chance qualifiers. We want to see teams giving it their all and giving it their best shot. And I genuinely feel as though Netshoes Miners, they're playing the game that is in front of them, and they're playing it very well. 5-2 now. The scoreline increases by 1 round yet again. The strange thing is in this game demo, I've not really got anybody that sticks out in my head as being the star player on Netshoes Miners. You know, scoreline aside, I can't think of anyone that's had a huge moment. It's just been a good team performance, hasn't it?
Just doing all rounds. You know, look at the kill distribution everyone's doing well for Miners, and I think the real separation is there's a weak link right now for E1.
Yeah.
Astro, 0-6. Need to be doing better than this. You know, whenever the big games come in, this is where the big players should be stepping up, and you would expect Astro, who has by far and above the most experience in that team, he needs to be stepping up.
I mean, he's bordering on being a secret agent right now. He's only one death away from a little James Bond. See, if we were casting this in Europe, I'd just ask to watch Astro all around now and just see if he gets a kill.
That's true, we can't control the observers.
I know.
That's true. We would have punished the players for this. Would have punished them. Raps is having an issue. One of his thermite charges have been tripped by the Kide. So it was not the greatest of old EMPing with the Kide Claw going in. We'll eventually open it up, but now that does leave them as a bit of a disadvantage, Ollie, with only the one wall open up for VIP. I don't really think this attack's going to be too successful. Dun 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 dun. All right, Mighty. C4 out, gets swung. Where's the team play? No coverage there for Miners. But still, they're in the advantage, Ollie. 3 versus 4, and like we mentioned, only place that E1 can push in from is VIP.
Now just really funneled at the top of those house stairs. Look at the amount of util Neskin's got to play around here. He's got Dragon Statue in itself can be a hard thing to challenge, but then you throw in the Kiba Barricade. Not even worried about the Dokubi call right now. Astro dying out on the balcony. It's removed that threat. It's removed that pinch power that E1 were really looking to have there. Basetto, he's going to fall, and Sexy Cake grabs one onto STK. Okay, not looking too bad here. Levy, he's going to make it level at 2 men apiece. Tucked in behind the bar. Neskin in position to do more damage here as he takes Dudez down. Sexy Cake, he's got the DMR. It's not the best weapon, but it is very hard hitting here in these close quarters. He does need to be careful. There's a lot of time left as well. 40 seconds to try and break these down. Oh, he's put points of damage in onto both players now, but eventually gets caught out in the cross. That's how you need to play. Sometimes you got to be bold. Sometimes you got to take a little bit of a risk there, and doubling up was the right thing to do.
It was a great hold there from Miners. Very limp attack from E1, only just trying to play through kills, and that's not going to work out whenever we know there's going to be an Azami up. And look how strong that Azami position was in towards Dragon. Sexy Cake couldn't do anything against that. And now they trail 6-2. And E1, now they're going to take the timeout, Ollie. It just feels a little bit too late.
Yeah, it really does. I don't know. I don't think it's a great time to really take that time out and to start building again. You know, you're just giving the opportunity now for Netshoes Miners to just take their own little bit of take their own time, take their own moment to breathe and go, yeah, this is how we're going to get it over the line.
Six 2. They've got a scoreline to battle back from. 4 attacks in the row on Skyscraper. That is not easy. It really isn't. Looks to be our kitchen and barbecue site. That's where Miners want to try and lock it out from.
Atacantes precisam localizar e desativar as bombas.
What the attack going to do? It just doesn't look as if that E1. It just feels like E1, yes, it won some rounds, but even in the rounds that they won, it was still fairly okay for Miners. They've been the much more dominant force just in terms of the team play. Pretty darn good, a lot better than what they have done the reg. Does it just come into qualifier fever, where a team just has this kind of life weekend where they are just untouchable?
Yeah, I think it's nice to see, isn't it? Because it shows that a team is still trying to get better, and they're not just going to be like, oh, well, it's the second season, we've had a bad season, oh, we're never going to qualify for the major, let's just give up. You know what I mean? Because there's no more Siege left to be played. It's fantastic to see a team constantly pushing to improve and constantly push to get better. And I prefer watching the teams that have had a terrible season and then come out in the last chance qualifier and do well and show us actually that they've got a bit of something about them and they've got a vision for the future and they're still looking to get better. It just fills me with joy because it's so easy to just roll over and be like, oh, we've not made it. We've had a rubbish season, whatever. But I think the attitude from NetShoes Miners at the moment has been stellar. Because the very, very realistic possibility of them getting this done 7-3 or even 7-2 and then just moving us on to the second map, which granted isn't their map pick, but you better believe they're going to contend over there.
E1 have had to talk about what they want to go for. A blitz is their choice. Where on earth are they going to be using the blitz? For the kitchen. You can't really go for the rushes. It looks to be top black is going to be their choice, which not a bad shout. Think about whenever you get to the top of black stairs, it's just a big long corridor. Having a blitz there just to run down it. Pretty easy to face check a lot of the angles as well with blitz. Even a smoke of a doorway, you can do that also. You have to make sure that everyone else plays their part. Blitz cannot kill them all. Ollie is great at making ground for the team. The team also then need to make sure they can hold back ground, make sure they can take it up as the blitz clears way for it.
Comes down to the team play again, doesn't it? There's only so much that a blitz can do. A blitz in a 1v1, fantastic. A blitz as soon as there's any sort of crossfire or distance between the defenders, and it can be very difficult indeed. Sexy Cake straight on through, immediately chunked down, and then impact out. He took a boatload of damage there straight away. No amount of team play would have really helped him there. I think hats off to E1 being ready for the fight. And Astro, welcome.
Pretty much in sight.
Levy is going to be immediately there with the trade on the alibi, fighting down there. Everything pausing for a time. That initial burst of energy from the blitz did not have the desired effect. We've got a very important engagement here, though. Dudez going to be going up against the player inside of Geisha there. It's going to be STK. It's direct role reversal from Dudez versus Mighty there a couple of rounds ago. Sexy King somehow out of all of this has been revived, which I think is fairly impressive. Still may yet have a part to play in this round.
All it takes is a few bullets and he's dead pretty much. Not a lot of HP left for him. Eskin is still above Ollie. He's in quite a tricky position because I don't think they've actually droned his position out. STK will try and take on the world. Takes down one, looking now towards the blitz who will spot out his location. Blue Kid actually cannot get through the rotate. He's clogged it up. And Neskin, there we go. We will wait for him to pounce on and he will make it happen. A down happens and everyone else falls. STK, look at the power of the Azami. Doesn't have to move from Geisha, Ollie. He's locked and loaded and closes out the round. Miners with a commanding victory, 7-2, Ollie. That's a scoreline to really get the confidence up moving into Chalet.
Miners have played really well there. Fantastic performance. As you mentioned, a 7-2 scoreline. Couldn't really ask for much better than that on a skyscraper. A map that we very regularly see go even split.